This is No Expectations, the podcast where we have unedited, lively conversations about spirituality, Zen Buddhism, holistic living, and everything in between. My name is Andrew. I'm a lifelong Zen Bodhisattva. It sounds much more fancy than it really is. A part-time tracksuit tailor and an author. This is my buddy, Jen.
What's up? I'm Jen. I love a good cup of coffee, a long walk in the woods at a comfortable, moderate pace. And I love having these conversations about kind of living life with no expectations. All right, Andrew, I have a question from one of our faithful followers on Instagram. The question is, you ready?
I'm sitting down.
What role does ego play in anger?
What role does ego play in anger? I think it plays a large role in it. Anyone who's ever sat in a classroom with me has heard me define the face of ego as four things: fear, anger, control, and entitlement. Yeah, I know I used anger in there. Mm-hmm. And if we're not comfortable in any of those things, or we're afraid of something, or we're losing control of a situation, or we feel that just because we exist, we should be given what we're given, then we start to, if those aren't supplied to us, those impact our ego. Our ego goes to a place where it's like, I'm angry about this. I want to fight this.
I want to fight. Yeah.
I want to fight. And it's not always yelling and screaming.
Right.
Sometimes it's walking away saying, I'm done, passive aggressively, and like, I can't deal with this. So I think it has a big plight. And ego is a dangerous tool if we let it kind of rule our lives. Mm-hmm. What say you?
I agree with that. My anger in most cases, I can't remember the last time I got really angry at a non-political something I didn't see on the news. But I think when I get angry or frustrated, irritated, it bubbles up to the surface on me as a feeling of anxiety, which to me is I don't have control over this situation.
Okay.
Now I'm just in a loop of trying to control it. So my anger doesn't come out in a, let's fight. I'm not yelling and screaming. My anger looks like this. I am anxious, and now I am just shutting down all my senses because I'm not in control right now. Mm-hmm. And that's, that's the ego telling me you don't have control of this situation. How are you going to get it?
Yeah. And for a lot of people, it is being angry. It is throwing something, whether it be your fist or a dinner plate or whatever it is.
Smart ass comment.
Yeah, a smart ass comment. To get what you want, to get that control, or how dare you say that to me and hurt me? Do you know who I am? Yeah. Let me tell you who I am. I heard that conversation many times with people. Let me tell you who I am. Okay.
Sure.
So there's plenty of people that find that way to physically release anger.
Is anger bad?
Not on its face. I think anger is an energy that we all have. Every human has. It's about understanding the power of that energy and its negativity. It can be fuel for change. Mm-hmm. It's okay to be angry if it helps move you forward in your progressive transformation.
Okay.
Like sometimes we need some stimulus, some grist for the mill, some sand to move that thing to go, okay, there needs to be a change. And in some way, maybe that is anger. Yeah. Maybe that's from a social aspect. Maybe that's a personal aspect. Whatever that is, sometimes that can be a motivator. Mm-hmm. But you can't hold on to anger. Anger burns bright and quick, but if you continue to let anger burn inside of you, it will eviscerate you. Mm-hmm. And if that's your only go-to form of motivation, then we really need to have a conversation.
Yeah.
Because it's not the best tool in your toolbox.
I have, 3 kids, and all kids respond and react different. One of my kids is very reactive in situations where they feel like they were taken advantage of, or they didn't, when they feel attacked or whatever, their first reaction is anger. The outward display of anger is screaming and yelling and wanting to fight the other one. And what I've learned parenting this child is if I can delay the reaction time from the time the incident happened until his reaction, his anger, his outward display of anger is minimized. So what that takes is being aware of the situation, seeing, being present. I heard that comment that your little brother said to you, so let's, jump in there, removing the situation, and having that stopgap measure makes his explosions much less. Same thing applies here to ourselves. Like if we have the awareness of this situation is firing me up right now, and step away, make that your outward display or your reaction, the time between it happens, like spread it out. I think that is how you recognize the growth that needs to happen. The situation is making me angry. I'm not in control. Before I display my anger, I need to sit. I need to walk out the room, or whatever
Count
it is
to
that you
10.
need to count to 10.
Whatever that is.
Yeah, and that's just all part of like identifying the ego is yelling at you right now, and you need to shut it up. You need to spread time between the incident and
Right.
the reaction.
It cuts off the fuel.
Yeah.
It just cuts it off and gives you some space, that mindfulness to go, okay, what's the right way to respond here? Right?
Is this that big of a deal?
Because you're sharpening that tool over and over and over and over and over and over again if you continually just like blurt out or... And we all have, we talked about anger and our ability to use it incorrectly is maybe something that we learn. I know, like, my experience with anger was something that I learned from my parents. Like, and it was one of those things that when my brother had his first child, he called me and he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna be a horrible dad. I'm gonna be a horrible parent because, like, the things that we experienced as young men were like, I don't want to be like that." And I said to my brother, I was like, "You're not going to be like that because you have the awareness right now, because you're saying it to me. You're saying, I don't want to be like that. You've taken the time to think, okay, this is not the path that I want to be on. I don't want to be angry. I don't want to use anger as the only tool in my toolbox to discipline my child," right? And not that I'm always right, but for the most part. My brother's become a phenomenal father, and without that tool.
Yeah.
But being aware of it and going, okay, I have to make a change. And the only change starts within me, right?
Yeah.
And not using that.
And it's never, speaking with my parenting mind on here, it's never too late to make a change. I personally made a change well into my child's teenage years. So, like, at any point on this journey where you realize, I don't want to do this anymore, I don't want to react this way, I don't like the way it makes me feel, I don't like the way it makes others around me feel, you have the awareness then, go in that direction, explore that with intention.
That's a good advice. I'm not a parent. So, from what it sounds like, being a parent's challenging.
Well, it's fine. No, having that awareness constantly that, for me, my anger more shows up like in the anxiety is having the realization that you want to do things a little bit differently than the way that you were raised is growth. And that those are the symptoms of you being a better parent than you were. And that's what this is all about.
I want to put you on the spot.
Yeah.
But you used the word awareness multiple times. And so for those who are listening, what is awareness? What is that sensation for you? That the idea of becoming aware of what's going on.
It's similar to.
Is it real time?
It's
or
real
is
time.
It post.
It was.
Pre.
It's a journey. I mean, it's a constant process. I go back to the example with my son, who I learned that if I can make more time in between the events, the things that are being said, or the action and the response, that awareness is happening in that time. The awareness of how you're feeling in this moment and making a choice.
So, if I might, it's just me being me. Do you believe? And let me finish the whole thought before you answer.
It's two-part question.
Do you believe that being around your children has helped your spiritual journey? So hold that answer, because I believe that seeing a child, and I've been around enough children, that they're much more direct connect, right? They don't have all of this other baggage. They don't have all these things that you and I, like, they're not jaded as much as we are, right? Yeah. So their ability to say what they feel and be honest is much more natural for a child, right? So knowing that, has that helped in witnessing that in your own children? Has that helped you with your own spirituality?
Absolutely. Being intentional in how I parent them, and this constant little cloud over my head in my early parenthood days, motherhood, I don't want to be like I don't want to be like my biological mom. I do not want to, but I don't know how to do it because I don't have the tools. And one day you realize you're on a spiritual journey, and I look, my spiritual journey directly impacts the people I live with. That's my husband and my kids, and I get to practice it on them in real time.
Lucky them.
Right? I know. My daughter right now, she's like, nah, I taught you all that. So yeah, they've made me a more spiritual person. They've made me a better person because they've shown me, what it's like to be in a present moment and what it means to be aware.
Back to the kid thing, you're kind of playing a little bit of mad scientist with them, right?
Yeah.
Because
especially that first one, you're just like...
Well, I mean, even just the younger ones, now that as you become more spiritually aware, you can kind of like integrate a bit of mindfulness, right? Yeah. And kind of see the direct impact. So, where we go from, this is about to, there's fuel, there's a fire, and if those two things meet, that it's going to explode. Yeah. So as a mom, you can go, hey, let's put this little piece of mindfulness in between those that little firewall in between there and see what happens.
Yeah.
Oh, that didn't work that way. Next time, let's integrate it with this. So you're kind of playing a little bit of mad scientist yourself and learning a lot, I would think.
Oh my gosh, yeah. It's like every opportunity that I've had to teach my kids how to stop and practice like a meditative breathing exercise is just like, if anything fills my soul, that has been it. Seeing my kids put to practice the things that I know will set them up for being better humans.
Right.
And I have the opportunity to do that. And I am grateful to have found this little spiritual journey that I'm on, because at the end of the day, my only goal in this life as a mom is to raise kids who go out into this world and they're better humans and they're good people and they know how to take care of themselves and those around them. So back to the anger part, there are times as a parent, like my initial reaction is to get so angry at what they're doing because I can't control them. I can't control their actions, but being able to pull back and show them, this is what it's like when you're angry. This is a way to respond to it.
There's a negative connotation about anger, but there's a negative byproduct of the person who gets angry, right? Because you kind of start to feel bad Like there's some regret, there's some guilt that's associated with anger displayed inappropriately. And
I really made an ass of myself by reacting that way.
And that starts this cycle of more anger, right? So being aware of anger, understanding its power, understanding its place in the human condition, how it integrates with your ego and your ego integrates with it, learning to maybe lessen its impact on your life is important to our spiritual development. It doesn't mean, again, when you're done and in completely enlightenment that you're liberated of that forever, but it's a tool. It's an understanding of that and something that we all work on, finding healthy ways to manage and deal with our anger. And then if you're fortunate enough to have a mom like Jen, then you'll be a better human being when you walk out of it.
I mean, you just, if you can, but here's the next level of that. Practicing these skills, these tools with my kids makes me a better wife, makes me a better friend. I've been able to take a lot of those with me into social situations and apply that, so being able to spread, like before this part of my journey, I hate saying it, but it's the word that I'm using today. The pre-journey, so easy to get in the cycle of with friends and talking about things that anger us and things that just piss us off and irritate us and like breeding that anger.
Yeah, that just is
And now like mid-journey, Jen is like able to divert those conversations and bring it back to more positive. And that's the work that we're doing here. That's what it looks like when you're living it in action and going out into the world. Like, how do I be in every moment aware and make it better?
One thing I want to say, you've been on the journey the entire time.
Yeah.
You just haven't seen the path because you were expecting it to look different, most likely. And you're cutting your own way through your path, and what's in front of you is unknown, but you're continuing to move forward.
Yeah.
So that goes for everybody. So don't think that the journey is suddenly going to appear in front of you. You've been on it the entire time. Now things maybe just seem a little bit more defined as you continue to journey on. I love this conversation. It's a solid conversation. Thanks for the question. If you have any more questions that you wanted to discuss on a future episode, drop us a line on social. We're on Instagram, Facebook, the Twitters. I guess it's called X now.
I don't know. I haven't updated my app.
So wherever you feel like you want Threads, wherever you feel like you want to interact with us, find us there. We're on all of them, and we'd love to hear from you.
Yep. Thanks for the question, Craig. You inspire me on my journey, so it was nice to answer this one for you. Thanks for listening to No Expectations, the podcast. We invite you to come join us and carry on the conversation at noexpectations.me, our new website, where we will be posting blog posts. We will link all of our episodes there, and you can follow us on our social media sites through the website.